You are watching the #1 podcast in the whole entire YouTube wrestling community, and I'm one of your hosts, Juan.
And I am your other host, Jean-Paul Leek.
And together we are...
Rope Break.
And, are you ready? Are you ready for accusations? No, we're not going to talk about that. You guys want us to talk about that? No, we're not going to talk about that. But we're ready for... Was it a big low, Jean-Paul, or like semi... Or tiny?
I mean, like at first you were like, okay, like is this Friday or is this Wednesday? This is a pretty good show. And then kind of we got towards the end, the last, 9 o'clock. We're like, no, this is Friday.
Yeah.
It's Friday.
It started out like it was a what is it? It was just fake,
Yep.
It was just a dream. It was just a dream. So, how's everybody doing tonight? Thank you so much for watching every single one of the videos. Thank you for all the love and support that you give us in all of the social media platforms. Thank you. And, we're here to talk about SmackDown. And SmackDown had finally the debut. And so many websites, they said that, like, it was not going to happen because, wrestling is going through a lot of stuff. So I feel that, like, Jean-Paul and I have to just address it very quick. What's going on with the world? Like, a lot of, accusations, a lot of the movement, the speak out movement. And you know what? If you've done something wrong, at least in this one, I'm going to talk in first person. If you've done something wrong, assume the consequences of your actions. So I'll give the pass to Jean-Paul.
Oh, yeah. I mean, these people, it don't matter who you are. Like, you can't take advantage of your own, like, celebrity or own power or sway that you might think you have. And you see a lot of these companies, WWE, AEW, they're taking it very seriously. They've taken action on some people that they felt they need to, whether it was releases, sending them into rehab, or whatever. We have it all on the channel. Follow us on the original Rope Break on Facebook and YouTube, and the OG Rope Break on Twitter. Follow us there to see all the in-depth and news updates.
Is
there.
The video done?
But
okay.
No, not yet. But I thought it was a perfect time to get the little plug in. But
That's
I mean,
right.
Like, they're taking it seriously because it is a serious issue. It's not some to joke around with, and it's not something to also make false accusations or to jump the gun. It's like, wait until the proof is out there before you make the final judgment.
Yes.
Because you don't want to put the guy on the guillotine and chop his head off when it could just be a crazy fan making something up. But you also don't want to ignore it if it was something serious. So it's one of those things you really got to dig into before making final judgments.
Case by case. So, now, thank you, Jean-Paul, and now we're just going to go to the show itself. SmackDown started out with, like, AJ Styles kind of, like, being crowned the new Intercontinental Champion. There was, like, a celebration. I don't want to say it was, like, a lumberjack, but, like, the whole roster, like, SmackDown roster.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of had that lumberjack feel. Because they were all just, like, spread out around the ring, I guess, kind of social distancing a little bit.
I guess that's how it felt, because I'm like, why is there a lumberjack match? But pretty much AJ Styles comes out and he says, this is the house that AJ Styles built. So, he's like, I know one, Renee, you're not good enough for, to crown me as the champion. I know somebody else that can, and that's Daniel Bryan, or Bryan Danielson, whoever you want to, like, call it. And, like, he says, hey, you should be the one, so put it all around me. Yeah, okay, good, make it tight. So, like, they're kind of going back and forth because Bryan is like, hey, you don't deserve to be the champion. I don't, hey, you beat me fair and square, but, that's what it is. It's one more time. We will meet each other once again. And then Jean-Paul pop because we finally heard that music.
Yeah.
And I just rumor, that he wasn't going to be in it.
Yeah, and I just want to say, before that, it was good. Like, I like the promo by Bryan that he cut. He's like, oh, if you were a legit champion, you'd be going against guys like Chad Gable. You'd be going against guys like, I think he said Grand Metalik or somebody. Yeah, Drew Gulak. He's like, you'd be going against these guys. And it's like, that was legit. The back and forth a little bit where he's like, oh, are you a man? Are you going to put the belt on me? That I felt was like a little long. I was like, where are they really going with this? But, it led to...
Yeah, and finally here with us.
And that's what we kind of called it, and we said, oh, we hope this isn't like Ricochet debuting, and then a Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, and just kind of losing, and then it's like, oh, okay, now Ricochet's a loser. But Matt Riddle, I think, had one of the best debuts, just the way they treated him tonight.
Oh, yeah. He was a pretty good debut. He pretty much said, you know what, I know that you're the man, you're the face that runs the place, but I'm going to be the bro that runs the show. So like he pretty much introduced himself and he gets a match with AJ Styles. Good thing for the Matt Riddle, like you said, he got a really great debut. They put on a really good match, and Matt Riddle is teasing like a feud with Baron Corbin because that was like that was the initial feud that they're gonna have him with. It's gonna be Baron Corbin because like you said, the tension of the Royal Rumble. So they're gonna go that path, and then it's gonna lead him back to AJ Styles. At least that's what like is being reported as of now. So, like, the match itself, pretty decent. Like, Matt Riddle, of course, he put on a pretty great match. And Styles is, Styles is Styles. And in the end, though, he pulls the upset, and Matt Riddle actually got the win. And everybody celebrated with him.
I was waiting for this because I'm like, there's no way Matt Riddle's going to lose. But how does AJ Styles, how does he lose, but also not look then like a jabroni, being the newly crowned IC champ? And then, he got involved with Daniel Bryan on the outside. He shoved Bryan, and then, they were all like, ooh, it's like, what's going on here? He's mouthing off to Bryan. He goes to set up for the phenomenal forearm. He gets caught. Bro Derek, 1, 2, 3. I love the cover by Riddle that he, hooked the leg, the really deep cover, and it made it like he really had to hold him down. And then the shock on Riddle when he won. And like I said, I love how everybody came in the ring. It was celebrating. It was like, you're the new guy here. They celebrated it. It's like, that's how you're like, yeah, this is the baby face. Let's get this guy over.
Yes, exactly.
You celebrate that win. And it's like you said, it's now Styles. His feud continues with Bryan. But there was that interaction with Corbin. And you go back to the Royal Rumble.
Yep.
And then it's like you beat Styles. But it's not going to be like old bullshit where it's like, oh, you beat the champ. Now you get to fight the champ for the belt. He's going to beat Corbin first and then probably get to AJ Styles.
So it's a pretty good debut, and again, we're happy that he actually debuted because he was also going through a lot of problems with all these allegations, and John Paul is happy, so you can tell him because that's one of his guys.
Yeah, and then that's the thing, like we said earlier, now anybody can say like, oh, like these allegations are fake. I want to believe Matt Riddle. He said it. His wife also came out and said like, no, this is just a stalker, like a fan, crazy person, blah blah blah. And that's one of those things where it's like, you hope that's the case. They're clearly digging into it. You said that this show was pre-taped. It wasn't live.
Yes.
So it wasn't like they were like, oh, go out there and do this. But WWE, they've in the past cut footage before, and they could have, just, oh, here's some of the IC Championship match from last week because it was a legit match.
They could have just done something like that, yes.
Yeah, so clearly they were fine enough with him to be like, no, we're still going to air this. It's still legit.
Yes.
So we hope that continues for Matt Riddle.
Yeah, hopefully that's what happens with Matt Riddle. And, now we're going to go with Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy, had a sit-down interview with, Renee Young. Pretty much, he says, yes, and I'm an alcoholic. Yes, I used to be, I'm a junkie.
Yeah, I mean, see, I don't, when he said, like, oh, I'm a junkie, and he's like, I've been an adrenaline junkie since I was 8, I'm like, okay, good save. Like, he, whatever. And then I knew that's what he meant when he said I'm a junkie. And then he is, yeah, I'm an alcoholic. I'm like, why can't you just say recovering alcoholic? Like, we know what you mean, but like the average two brain cell jabroni that's watching wrestling, which is probably like a good portion of the people, they're probably like, Jeff's an alcoholic. Like, huh? You're gonna be like, just say recovering alcoholic. It doesn't make you sound like so much of a,
Yeah.
It's kind of like,
It's pretty, it's not good that you're actually admitting what you really are, but it will be a lot better if you sound a recovering alcoholic because you kind of are showing it in a lighter manner, in a positive light. You're showing like, hey, I was, but now I'm in recovery.
But besides that, I mean, it was a good promo by Jeff Hardy. I'm glad the feud is continuing with Sheamus because I feel like just because it's WWE has pay-per-view so often, a feud doesn't need to blow over just because it's like they had a match at the pay-per-view.
Yes.
You can keep it going. I don't even care if they would drag this thing out to SummerSlam if they can make the story interesting enough. They're continuing it, going, and I'm fine to see where it goes because I think Jeff Hardy's going to get his win, and then it'll be like, okay, Sheamus has the big win, Jeff Hardy has the big win. Now we got to get one more, and then that's when I think they're going to end it. But
yeah, and so it's a really long program that they're going to have. So now let's go with we're talking about long. We're going to have to talk about short, and that's Shorty G. So I am making the jokes too. I have to do it. Everybody else does it, so why can I not do it? So Shorty G, he has a promo with Kayla Braxton, and he's talking about he's gonna face Mojo Riley, and Mojo comes from the back and is telling Shorty's well, that if you're short and everything, you have to have eyes in the back of your head like I do, and then boom. So he swung at him, and then they had a match. The match was pretty short, but it looks good for Shorty. Mojo Riley, to me, he's just a jobber. Everybody knows that. So I'm sorry, Mojo, but that's who you are. Like, that's pretty much what it is. And Shorty G won with a roll-up. So, Jean-Paul, like, do you see anything else besides this little interaction? Do you see them going anywhere else?
I mean, Shorty G, like, I think they're really trying to push guys on SmackDown now. Like Daniel Bryan name dropped him in the beginning of the show, some other guys. I could see AJ Styles just having matches with these guys on TV. Because, I mean, clearly he's like, oh, these guys don't deserve a shot, blah, blah, blah. But, obviously that's just kayfabe. He's probably going to wrestle these guys, give them a chance on TV. They're not doing really anything with them. I heard rumors Mustafa Ali is supposed to be getting moved to Monday Night Raw.
No, it's not a rumor, Jean-Paul. It's actually, you just say it. It's true. Mustafa Ali and who else? Dolph Ziggler.
So then I don't know. I mean, Dolph Ziggler I think is a good move, but I don't know what you're going to do with the hacker gimmick unless you're going to just push that off to somebody else, or unless that's just like every
like any
else
other
that
Lost in the Shuffle. You know who else is going to go to Monday Night Raw? I'm giving you the exclusive from Raw Break, Bobby Roode. Because Bobby Roode and Ziggler are going to still be,
Who?
Robert Roode, Bobby Roode. And you know why? Because he's still stuck in Canada. He couldn't come in the same plane that like Evil Uno and Scott Grayson was. So, he needs another plane.
Exactly. But, I mean, we'll see what they do with Chad Gable, because it's like, he had to win here, but is it going to be one of those things where he gets the win against Mojo Riley, and then we don't see him for 3, 4, or 5 weeks? Because then what's the point? Then we don't care anymore.
Exactly. So Jean-Paul. After that, we get Miz TV, we get Miz and John Morrison talking about interviewing the Mandy Rose. We get like our girl. Yeah, we get the peach, and the one thing is like first they acknowledge like what happened in Backlash, so that was kind of fun. It's like, let's address the elephant in the room, and it's like, hey, we got him beat, and I'm sorry.
And he's like, who, Otis? And he's like, no, not Otis.
Not Otis, no, the other elephant is like, hey, let's try to like pull it like, I got him beat, and I actually pulled you away. I'm sorry, because it's like they added that stipulation towards the end, so like we kind of lost focus because we were going to be co-champions and not just like an individual champion. So that's they address the situation, and then Mandy comes out and then just pretty much making fun of her about Otis. And then it said, well, what about Mandy, Sonya and Mandy? Like, you guys were friends. How long? Oh, 5 years. And it's like, why you guys like keep trying to make fun of me because of the relationship with Otis, like the fact that like she hasn't done anything. And then Sonya comes out, and like you said, Sonya is a really legit promo. Like, she also like was dressed, as a guy pretty much with a suit. And I really like that she embraces, her gender, or like you will say her, what would you call that? Like,
I mean, just her, who she is. She doesn't want to be like,
she addresses who she is, but like, see, the promo that she cut is really, really good. Is because Mandy, you given every single opportunity in the house.
Yeah, and she's like, I'm a better, pretty much like I'm a better promo than you. I'm a better fighter than you. She's like, what? Because I doesn't have, and she pretty much points to Mandy's, tits. She's like, what? Because I don't have this. She's like, because I don't have this body. Yeah. She's like, that's the only reason. She's like, you're getting pushed and I'm not. Yeah. And she's pretty much like, it's bullshit. And then Mandy just stood there and pretty much like, for most of this promo until the end, when obviously she had to fire back, she just stood there and was like, so.
Yeah, because and also like when she fired back, she didn't really.
Oh, it was weak. Oh, it was weak. I mean, Sonya, like, if you're going out of 10, I mean, Sonya was hitting home runs, and then Mandy Rose was like, foul ball, oh, I got the first base.
Yeah,
you know
what I mean? It was like, she pretty much said, what do you want me to do? It's like, what do you want from me? So, like, and then pretty much they start going at it, a little bit more interactions between her, and then, of course, the Miz and Morrison had to, like, separate on them. But the Miz
that's the one thing I don't like when when they started brawling, Mandy actually got the upper hand, and then Sonya kind of pushed the Miz in between them, and then Sonya rolled out of the ring. I'm like, I mean, I guess you wanted to make Mandy look strong because she's the face, and then she could slap Miz, but I'm like, if Sonya's promo was supposed to be true, which it is true, she should have kicked the shit out of Mandy.
Yeah, well,
and, you know what I mean? It should have been like Otis came down and maybe got in the middle, and then it's like, oh, okay, like whatever.
Well, like you said, we will find out what's next for this rivalry, but like clearly it's not over. And now that like they made the wonderful idea of take the guy that like was in the middle of Otis and Mandy, Dolph Ziggler, like he's gonna be part of Monday Night Raw. I don't know where this is gonna go. I really don't know. Like WWE has like this.
I mean, this is what they could. I'm not saying to do this. But like, if you want to just focus on Otis and not heavy machinery, you could easily have Tucker join Sonya Deville, and he could cut the same promo on Otis.
Yeah, no, and
I'm a better wrestler. I'm a better worker. I'm a better talker. All you say is, "Oh yeah." He's like, you're bullshit. Like, look at you. You're short and fat. At least I'm tall and fat and athletic. Like, look at you. He could do the same thing. But I mean, I don't want them to do that.
It would be better because it's like like 4 people that used to be on tag teams, so it will be a lot more interesting.
Yeah, and then I mean, if I'm gonna book this whole story to get Heavy Machinery back together, you could have that. Otis and Mandy and all that. They win, and it's legit. Otis is like, "Oh, Mandy, my peach. Here's the briefcase." He gives it to Mandy. She catches it in on Bayley, wins it, but then she turns heel because she's champ, and she's like, "Screw you, Otis." And then Otis can be like, so. And then Tucker turns face again, and then they join up.
And then they join. Yeah, that could be. There you go. That's a bit, and that's also long term for you guys. So please hear Jean Paul out. But now we're talking about tag teams, so we're going to be talking about somebody that is a tag team, and that's the New Day. They went against Lucha House Party. Like Jean Paul always says, why is this needed? Because Lucha House Party is a great tag team, but they never come out as great because they always lose. And the one thing, Jean Paul, Cesaro and Nakamura, they're going to be the ones being pushed for the tag team titles. Why? Because the Forgotten Sons, I don't know if you remember, but we reported on Raw Break, one of the members, I think is Riker, he put out the tweet like supporting Donald Trump, and done. Push, done. So
and I mean, if I was Wesley Blake and I forget who the hell the other guy is, pun definitely intended, Forgotten Sons, and I can't remember his name, I'd beat the hell out of Jackson Riker. I'll be like, dude, we were finally gonna get the push, and then you're like, dude, come on,
but that tells you also like WWE is a place that you cannot speak freely about like your likes or dislikes or anything. But like you said, if I'm in a tag team, I will be trying to be careful of not saying whatever.
Yeah, because you don't just represent yourself, you represent everyone else. So you gotta be like, hey guys, are you cool with this? But
exactly. So I agree with you. So
I mean, but with all that being said, I think Cesaro and Nakamura deserve the push 1,000 times more than the Forgotten Sons.
Oh yeah, so anyway, it's actually it's like a good that came out from a bad. So whatever,
exactly.
That's fine. And also, Jean Paul, the match was really simple. In the end, of course, the New Day won with they did a Midnight Express, I think it's called.
Midnight Hour or something like that. Yeah.
The Midnight Hour, so they did that. But the one thing that it was funny and different is that Sasha and Bayley were actually on commentary. So they were talking about this, and they was like, "Oh yeah, we like the Lucha House Party, it's legit." And the Bayley's like, "Oh, I know a little bit of Spanish. Muy bien." Okay, I'm like, "Oh, so that was cool. That was just, decent." So at the end of the match, of course, the New Day stands tall, but they were attacked by Cesaro and Nakamura, and for the second week in a row, they stand tall onto them. So you can tell that that's going to be the feud. And like I said to you and everybody else, the tag team championships are going to be on the line when it comes to this situation. So Jean Paul, after that, then you get a picture of the girls. It's Alexa Bliss, Dana Brooke, Tamina, Lacey Evans, Naomi, and they're all talking about who's going to be Bayley's next challenger. And also then the next challenger for the tag titles. And then Alexa's like, where the hell's Nikki? And then it's we go to commercial again, and then we get the word with Sheamus, because Kayla Braxton is asking about his reactions about what happened with Jeff Hardy. And pretty much he says that he told me that I'm a bully. I am a bully, and I love it. And next week I'm going to have a toast with Jeff Hardy. So next week we're going to have that. So there you go. They keep keep boosting this alcoholic storyline, but
it's better to be pissed off than to be pissed on.
Pissed on, yeah. And I will, yeah, that's very true. So Jean Paul, they do that, but in the meantime, then it's Nikki Cross pops from out of nowhere, and then she starts attacking Sasha Banks and Bayley. So it's I want action. I guess Killian Dane is not giving any. Of course, poor Killian.
I mean, after losing on NXT, how many times I probably wouldn't want to do anything.
Well, either. It's get Priest then, get Damian Priest. So that's what they should do. And of course, Bayley's no, Sasha is going to have the match. So they did have a match. It was a pretty decent match. Alexa Bliss came down towards the end, so to even the odds. So they were right there, standing side by side. But in the end, Sasha Banks gets the win over Nikki Cross, and it was a pretty, the storyline. They keep promoting that. They keep promoting. I don't know who's going to be the next contender for the tag titles. Well, they have the match on Monday Night Raw. They also announced that, Jean-Paul. Monday Night Raw is going to be the championship show because they're going to have both tag team titles are going to be on the line. The women's, the men are going to be Street Profits against Viking Raiders. We're going to have the 24/7 championship match.
R-Truth against Tozawa.
And also we're going to have Charlotte Flair against Asuka. Ooh, now we're already scared because the title reign might be in jeopardy. If not, it's already done.
Could you imagine? It's like, okay, you have your match at Backlash, bullshit finish. Okay, like I guess a rematch is warranted. And then the following week, you just get thrown in a match with Charlotte for no reason.
Yeah. So I just, like that's WWE. They signed the petition. They tried to, fans are trying to do whatever it takes to stop the situation. But no, WWE is not listening. It's like they push the agenda of the female Roman Reigns all the way to the, to the space. So what's there for us to do? We just say we're going to call it how it is. If she becomes champion, shame on them. Because Asuka does not deserve to lose 3 times to her and lose the championship 3 times.
It honestly makes no sense. Like I said, I mean, if you would have did something where you would have had Charlotte beat a bunch of people, maybe Charlotte have a feud with Shayna and then Charlotte have a feud with somebody else, then you'd be like, okay, I could understand, I guess, a title shot now, but just out of the blue, like they make it so obvious that it's forced. They don't even try to hide it.
Yeah,
and that's what I think. It's like, oh my god, like
they
that's what we hate.
They rub it on your face. They rub it on your face. It's like, hey, you know what? Like, like she's gonna have a title match, and you know what? She's gonna win it, and you're gonna like it. That's pretty much what they're doing. So let's go now, Jean-Paul, to we're really glad that you're our friend. And this is a rubric that will never, ever end. Yep. Yep, pretty much that. And we get, of course, The Fiend. He says he's back. He's like, oh, I miss you guys. You guys miss me? Yeah. I've been learning all these TikTok moves.
Not the moves. No, he doesn't dance like Mandy Rose, though. So.
Oh, well, thank God he doesn't, because I'd much rather see Mandy Rose. But, he's talking about all these things, and then Braun Strowman comes out of nowhere. And he's like, hey, I beat you on Money in the Bank, so it's done. And he's like,
it's done.
Yeah, and then we saw Rambling Rabbit. He's like, oh yeah, Bray also, you forgot that you lost to Braun Strowman. And he's like, oh, you always have to remind me of the bad stuff. So then he goes, Braun, hey, this is not over. This is just the beginning. This is the first step towards the last dance. And Bray Wyatt had a transformation, and he goes back to old Bray Wyatt. So, that was cool. And then he says, hey, this is the beginning. I create you, and I'm going to destroy you. We go way back. I was the one that brought. So he kind of keep pursuing that theme, that topic, that storyline is still right there. So we'll see what happens, Jean-Paul. But, there's no mention of The Fiend yet. So how did you approach this segment? Yeah,
I mean, it was hard to think what they were gonna do, because it's okay, he goes back to, they said, old school Bray Wyatt, which is cool. I like that gimmick. I feel like they really misuse that gimmick on the main roster. Big surprise. But to go back to it, it's but the Fiend is so over, so this is probably just gonna be something for this feud. I wouldn't say the Fiend is gotten rid of, and he could just be doing this just to be a mind game, and he'll never actually wrestle as this version of Bray Wyatt. It could just be a mind game, and it'd still be the Fiend, which I think is what they're going to do. But, I mean, it's an interesting way. They played the mind game with the mask. Hey, that didn't get to him. He's still beating him at Money in the Bank. Now you're going to play the mind game with this. Maybe he should, if he really wants to beat him, he should show him clips of what his old, Wyatt family member is doing, Brody Lee. He could show him some clips from AEW, and then Braun Strowman would be like, you can take the belt. I don't want to watch this shit no more.
Yeah, that would be cool. For example, or hey, let's see where your brothers are up to. And then you show Brody Lee losing to John Moxley. And then Rogan completely fire. So
he shows Eric Rowan, his spider getting crushed by Drew McIntyre with the ring steps. Look at this.
That's where your brothers are. That's how they're up to, and that's how they evolve so far. But it's an interesting storyline. I think that it's important that the title, that the Universal Championship is featured as the main storyline of the show. But of course now we have the Bro, so that's also very important. Matt Riddle is going to add a lot of things to SmackDown, and the one thing that everybody was afraid of didn't happen. So that's important, that he kept his identity. He came with the sandals He said like I hate to wear
Yeah,
like,
and like we were talking about, they were calling him Matthew Riddle. He changed his thing to Matthew Riddle. But then tonight, I was waiting for for Michael Cole to be Matthew Riddle, but it was just Matt Riddle. So I don't know if they were like, ooh, Matthew's not sticking. Maybe they got a lot of negative feedback. Like, you know, the PR people were like, ooh, people online, they hate it. Let's go back to Matt Riddle. Like,
yeah,
why do we change it?
I think
Because
that's what happened.
yeah, because we've clearly seen them do that with the Viking Raiders. They had like, you know, 10 different names until they settled on the Viking Raiders.
Yes,
and,
well,
you know.
the War Raiders. War Raiders will be the name they were supposed to have, or the Viking Experience. Remember that?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like
that lasted what, 1 week? But like, so yeah, pretty much that sums up SmackDown Live. So I think it was a pretty not as bad of a show. Like you said,
yeah, no,
I
mean, like
really good.
Yeah,
Started out hot.
the only thing is that it's like is kind of boring is the tag team division stuff, and I would say the stuff with the women. But it's like Bayley and Sasha are good, but that's like the only really storyline you're invested in. But we just kind of have to suffer through these other storylines until we get to the payoff between them.
Yes, and we don't know when the payoff is going to be, but like a lot of states are going to green. You know, it seems like a lot of like places are going to be already able to hold people. So we're going to kind
SmackDown should be going into green with the Bro showing up.
Well, it's going to be green for the Bro. It has to be green, so that's important. But like I said, Matt Riddle is going to add a lot of ingredients to SmackDown, so that's important, family. So thank you so very much for watching. Don't forget, comment, just tell us how you guys like the show, you guys dislike the show. Hey, I love that Matt Riddle is on finally on SmackDown. Hey, I hate it, I want him to go back to NXT. Tell us all the things that you guys believe, and you know, we'll try to answer as quick as possible. And John Paul already mentioned where they can find us on Facebook, on social media, where they can find us everywhere. So just, you know, hit us with like whatever comment you have. Hey, tell us like how you feel about these allegations. All of it. We love to hear every single one of you. So Jean Paul, you and me have one more thing that is left to say. But before we say that, we want to say good luck to everybody tomorrow, Summer Glory. So we want to say hi, of course, to like Lexi Gomez and Great Rule, the Jurassic Juggernaut being Steel, and our Godfather Cha-Cha Charlie. They're gonna turn the house down. We're gonna find out if it is Cha-Cha time or like there's gonna be the Juggernaut, the Jurassic time. So we're going to see what time is it going to be. It all happens tomorrow. So Jean Paul, you and me, we have one more thing that is left to say, and that is...